Excuse me, ma'am. What do you think you're doing here?
Taking out my trash, officer. My office is right here.
That dumpster's private property! You can't use it!
Officer, I lease office space in this building. I've been using it for 4 years. I have every legal right to dispose of my office waste.
Ma'am, I'll need to see some proof of that!
Picture this. You're a lawyer. 12 years practicing civil rights law. Your name is on the door of your office. You've won cases that changed lives. You've stood in courtrooms and fought for people who had nowhere else to turn. And on a quiet Saturday afternoon, you get arrested for taking out your trash. Not because you did anything wrong, not because you broke any law, but because one officer looked at you and decided you didn't belong. This is the story of Sarah Mitchell, a brilliant attorney in Phoenix, Arizona, a woman who spent her entire career defending people against police misconduct, and the day she became her own client. Before we dive in, I need to ask you something. Where are you watching from right now? If this is your first time here, please hit that subscribe button, because stories like Sarah's, they need to be heard, they need to be shared, and your support helps us bring these truths into the light. Now, let me take you back to that Saturday afternoon. Phoenix, Arizona. Desert sun beating down, the kind of heat that makes the asphalt shimmer. There's a place called Ridgeview Business Park on the north side of the city. It's not fancy, but it's professional. Low buildings painted in earth tones, covered walkways, shared parking lots, the kind of place where accountants and consultants and small law firms set up shop. Most offices are closed on Saturdays. The parking lot is almost empty. Just a handful of cars scattered across the spaces, belonging to the dedicated few catching up on work before Monday rolls around. Sarah Mitchell is one of those people. She's been practicing civil rights law in Phoenix for 12 years. 12 years, representing people who got fired for no reason, people who faced discrimination, people whose constitutional rights got trampled. She's won cases that made headlines, argued before the state appeals court, taught seminars to other lawyers about employment discrimination. The state bar recognized her for the free legal work she does for people who can't afford attorneys. Her colleagues respect her clients trust her opponents, they fear her. That afternoon, Sarah's working on a brief that's due Monday morning. Nothing dramatic, just the weekend grind that lawyers know all too well. She's been in her office since 9 in the morning, building a case for a client who got discriminated against at work. Around lunchtime, she looks around her desk. Small bag of trash, shredded papers, empty salad container, coffee cup. Normal office waste. She grabs the bag in one hand, tucks a manila folder with some case files under her other arm, locks her office door, and walks 30 feet across the parking lot. 30 feet. To the shared dumpster that services her building and the 3 others in her section. She's wearing a navy blazer over a light pink blouse, hair pulled back. Professional. Exactly what you'd expect from a lawyer working through the weekend. She lifts the dumpster lid, tosses the trash bag inside, lets the lid fall closed. Simple, mundane, legal. She's done this exact same thing hundreds of times over 4 years of leasing that office. But someone's watching. His name is Officer Derek Cole, 6 years with the Phoenix Police Department. And in those 6 years, Derek Cole had compiled a record that should have ended his career long before this moment. 11 complaints. 11. 10 of them involving Black professionals in commercial areas. A dentist leaving his practice after hours. Stopped and questioned for 20 minutes about whether he really owned the building. An architect meeting a client at a construction site. Detained and searched because Cole decided he looked like he was trespassing. A female executive getting coffee from her company's break room. Questioned about whether she actually worked there. Forced to call her supervisor to prove her employment. Every single incident, same pattern. Cole saw a Black person in a professional setting, couldn't reconcile their presence with his biased assumptions, and decided to investigate. And every single time, the complaint got closed with meaningless retraining. Implicit bias workshop, de-escalation training, community policing seminar. Cole attended them all, signed the completion forms, went right back to doing exactly what he'd always done. His supervisors knew. Internal Affairs had a file documenting the pattern clearly. But Phoenix PD was facing staffing shortages. They needed officers on patrol. And Cole had never been sued, never been caught on video doing something egregious enough to force termination. So he stayed on the street. That afternoon, Cole's assigned to a commercial patrol route that includes Ridgeview Business Park. He drives slowly through the complex, windows down, looking for anything out of place. And then he sees her, a black woman in business attire, alone in a nearly empty parking lot, walking toward a dumpster. Cole's brain makes the calculation it always makes. She doesn't fit. This is a professional complex. She's probably dumping trash illegally. She might be trespassing. He doesn't consider that she might work there. He doesn't notice the professional attire. He doesn't think about the fact that she's walking confidently. Not sneaking, not hiding, just existing. He sees what his bias trained him to see. A black woman who probably doesn't belong in this expensive professional complex. Cole pulls his patrol car into the lot and parks directly behind Sarah's sedan, blocking it in. He steps out, hand resting on his belt, and walks toward her as she's heading back to her office. "Excuse me, ma'am, what do you think you're doing here?" Sarah stops, turns. She recognizes the tone immediately, not a polite inquiry. An accusation wrapped in a question. She's represented enough clients who've been through this exact scenario. She knows what's coming. "Taking out my trash, officer? My office is right here." She gestures toward the building 15 feet away. There's a bronze nameplate next to the door. Mitchell Law Group. Cole looks at the building, then back at her. Skepticism written across his face. "That dumpster's private property. You can't use it." Sarah's expression shifts, from polite to professional. "Officer, I lease office space in this building. That dumpster services this building and the 3 others in this section. I've been using it for 4 years. I have every legal right to dispose of my office waste there. I'll need to see some proof of that." "Proof?" Sarah shifts the manila folder to her other hand. "Officer, what is this really about? I'm taking out trash from my law office. There's no crime here, no violation, no reason for you to stop me." Cole steps closer. "Ma'am, I'm an attorney. I know the law, and this is my office right here. I don't care what you say you are. I've had problems with people illegally dumping in these dumpsters. I need to verify you're authorized to use it." Problems with people illegally dumping. Sarah repeats the words slowly, letting them hang in the air. "Officer, what's your name?" "Officer Cole." "Officer Cole, I'm going to be very clear with you. I am attorney Sarah Mitchell. I practice civil rights law. I have represented dozens of clients who've been racially profiled by police officers. And right now, you are racially profiling me. You stopped me for taking out my office trash because you saw a black woman in a professional complex and decided I didn't belong here. That's textbook discrimination." Cole's face flushes. "Ma'am, you're illegally dumping trash. I'll need to see your ID." "You have no right to run my ID. There's no reasonable suspicion of any crime. This is harassment. And if you were actually trained properly, you'd know that." "This is suspicious. I don't believe you." Sarah's eyes narrow. "You don't believe I'm an attorney, even though I just told you I practice law, even though my office is 15 feet away with my name on it, even though I'm standing here in professional attire on a Saturday afternoon, clearly working. You don't believe me because I'm black. And you can't imagine that a black woman could be a successful civil rights attorney in Phoenix. Is that about right, Officer Cole?" "I'm investigating a potential violation." "No, you're not. And if you keep this up, you'll be the one getting sued." This is where bias collides with knowledge. Officer Derek Cole had profiled plenty of people in his 6 years on patrol, but he'd never profiled an attorney who specialized in police misconduct cases. He'd never targeted someone who understood the law better than he did. He'd never stopped someone who had the resources and expertise to make him pay for his pattern of discrimination. Cole should have walked away. He should have verified her office lease. He should have apologized and left. But his pride, his pattern, his inability to admit he was wrong, all of it pushed him forward. "Ma'am, turn around and put your hands behind your back." Sarah's eyes widen. "You're arresting me? For what? Taking out my trash? You're trespassing and illegally dumping, and you're refusing to provide identification." "I'm not trespassing. I lease an office here, and I don't have to provide identification when I haven't committed a crime. This is a Fourth Amendment violation, and you know it." Cole reaches for his handcuffs. "Turn around." "I am not turning around. You have no legal authority to arrest me. I have committed no crime. I am standing in a parking lot that I have legal access to, outside an office that I pay rent for, holding my own case files. She holds up the manila folder. If you touch me, if you put those handcuffs on me, you will be sued personally, and this department will be sued institutionally. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Cole grabs her arm. Sarah pulls back, not violently, but firmly. Do not touch me. I am an attorney. I am recording this mentally, and I will document every word you've said. You are violating my civil rights. Cole yanks her arm harder, trying to spin her around. Sarah maintains her balance, her legal training and her survival instincts both kicking in. This is assault. You are committing assault. The manila folder falls from her hand. Papers scatter across the pavement. Cole forces her against the side of her own car and pulls her arms behind her back. The handcuffs click into place. This is illegal detention, Sarah says, her voice steady despite the adrenaline flooding her system. You have no probable cause. You have no reasonable suspicion. You have nothing but your bias against a black woman in a professional setting. Cole says nothing. He just walks her toward his patrol car. A man emerges from one of the other offices, an accountant who'd been working late and heard the commotion. Hey, what's going on? That's Sarah. She's an attorney. Her office is right there. Cole keeps walking. Police business. Stay back. But she works here. I've seen her here for years. I said stay back. The accountant pulls out his phone, starts recording. Cole notices but doesn't stop. He puts Sarah in the back of his patrol car and shuts the door. Sarah sits there, handcuffed, watching through the window as the accountant picks up her scattered papers. She's furious. She's humiliated, but she's also already building her case. Cole radios dispatch. Dispatch, this is Unit 43. I have a female in custody for trespassing and illegal dumping at Ridgeview Business Park. Need a supervisor to my location. Within minutes, Sergeant Maria Hernandez arrives. She's been with Phoenix PD for 14 years. She's worked with Cole before. She knows his record, she knows his pattern, and when she pulls into the parking lot and sees a black woman in professional attire handcuffed in Cole's patrol car, she knows exactly what happened. Hernandez approaches Cole. What's the situation? Female trespassing and illegally dumping trash in a commercial dumpster. Refused to provide ID. Got aggressive when I tried to verify her presence. Hernandez looks at the accountant, still standing nearby with Sarah's papers. Do you know this woman? Yes, ma'am. That's attorney Sarah Mitchell. She's been practicing law in that office over there for years. She's not trespassing. She works here. Hernandez closes her eyes, takes a deep breath, then she walks to Cole's patrol car and opens the back door. Ma'am, I'm Sergeant Hernandez. I apologize for this situation. Can you tell me what happened? Sarah's voice is calm, but it carries the full weight of her legal expertise. Sergeant, I am attorney Sarah Mitchell. I practice civil rights law. I lease office space in Building C. I was taking out my office trash using the dumpster that services my building when Officer Cole stopped me and accused me of trespassing and illegal dumping. I identified myself. I explained that I work here. I informed him that he had no legal basis to detain me. He ignored everything I said and arrested me anyway. This is racial profiling. This is unlawful detention, and this is going to cost your department millions. Hernandez turns to Cole. Did you verify her office lease before you arrested her? She refused to provide. That's not what I asked. Did you verify that she works here? Cole hesitates. I was going to. You arrested her first. Hernandez's voice is cold. You arrested an attorney in her own office complex for taking out her trash without verifying anything. She turns back to Sarah. Ms. Mitchell, I'm going to uncuff you immediately. Do you need medical attention? No, but I do need your name, his badge number, his body camera footage, and a formal incident report. Because I'm filing a lawsuit before the end of business Monday. Hernandez nods. You'll have everything you need. She unlocks the handcuffs, helps Sarah out of the patrol car. Again, I apologize. This should never have happened. Apologies don't undo constitutional violations, Sergeant, but I appreciate the acknowledgement. Sarah looks at Cole, standing off to the side, finally realizing the magnitude of his mistake. Officer Cole, you just profiled a civil rights attorney who specializes in suing police officers. I couldn't have scripted a better case if I tried. By Monday morning, the story is everywhere. Civil rights attorney arrested for taking out trash at her own law office. Phoenix cop detains lawyer in her workplace parking lot. Attorney handcuffed after officer refuses to believe she practices law. The optics are catastrophic. The facts are indefensible. Sarah Mitchell holds a press conference Monday afternoon, standing outside the police station, her papers from the manila folder neatly organized. Her case already built. On Saturday, I was arrested for being a successful black woman in a professional environment. Officer Cole saw me taking out my trash and decided I was a criminal. Not because of anything I did, but because, in his mind, black people don't belong in professional complexes unless they're cleaning or committing crimes. He couldn't imagine that I might be the attorney whose name is on the door. She pauses. That kind of bias doesn't just harm individuals. It exposes a systemic failure. Her voice gets stronger. Officer Cole has 11 formal complaints in 6 years. 10 of them involve black professionals. This wasn't an isolated incident. This was a pattern that Phoenix PD allowed to continue for years. And now they're going to pay for it. Civil rights organizations contact Sarah immediately, offering support, resources, publicity. But Sarah doesn't need help. She's a civil rights attorney. This is literally her area of expertise. She files the lawsuit herself, 72 hours after the incident. The lawsuit names Officer Derek Cole, his supervisors who'd ignored his complaint history, and the Phoenix Police Department. The allegations are thorough and devastating. Unlawful arrest without probable cause, racial profiling and discrimination, Fourth Amendment violations, assault and battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress, negligent retention and supervision of an officer with a documented pattern of bias, failure to implement adequate training and accountability measures. The complaint includes Cole's entire complaint history, 11 incidents, 10 involving black professionals, all documented, all dismissed with retraining. Phoenix PD's attorneys review the case and come to an immediate conclusion. This is a nightmare. Sarah Mitchell isn't just any plaintiff. She's an experienced civil rights attorney who knows exactly how to build a case. She has witnesses, she has documentation, she has Cole's complaint history, she has her own credibility as an attorney who'd never been arrested, never been accused of any crime, never given anyone any reason to question her integrity. The city settles before it goes to trial. $2,700,000. Paid to attorney Sarah Mitchell, the largest settlement in Phoenix history for a wrongful arrest case involving a professional. Officer Derek Cole is terminated 9 weeks after the incident. The termination letter is comprehensive and final. Officer Cole engaged in racial profiling and unlawful arrest of a licensed attorney in her place of business. He detained Ms. Mitchell without probable cause, ignored her identification and explanation, and arrested her based solely on racial bias. His actions violated department policy, state law, and constitutional protections. His pattern of similar conduct, documented through 11 previous complaints, demonstrates an inability to serve without bias. His employment is terminated immediately. Cole's name is entered into the National Decertification Index. His law enforcement career is over, permanently, everywhere. He attempts to appeal through the police union. The union reviews the case, sees that he profiled a civil rights attorney, and quietly withdraws their support. There's no defense, no justification, no way to spin this. Cole issues a statement through an attorney. I made serious errors in judgment, and I accept responsibility for my actions. I apologize to Attorney Mitchell and the community. Sarah Mitchell's response is swift and public. Officer Cole's apology is meaningless. He didn't make an error. He followed a pattern he'd established over 6 years. The real question is why Phoenix PD allowed that pattern to continue through 11 complaints. The Department of Justice opens a pattern and practice investigation into Phoenix PD's handling of racial profiling complaints. What they find is systemic negligence, complaints closed without proper investigation, retraining requirements treated as boxes to check rather than opportunities for change, supervisors who prioritized officer retention over community safety. No meaningful accountability until someone with resources fought back. The reforms come 6 months later. Mandatory verification before any trespassing arrest. Automatic investigation for any officer with 3 similar complaints. Real-time body camera review for all detention incidents. Extended probationary period for new officers. Partnership with civil rights organizations to monitor complaint patterns and outcomes. Attorney Sarah Mitchell testifies before the Phoenix City Council. Her testimony is precise, powerful, and damning. I represent people who've been profiled, discriminated against, and violated by those in positions of authority. I never thought I'd become my own client, but Officer Cole saw me and made an assumption based on nothing but my race. I was taking out trash at my law office, my office where I've practiced for 4 years, where my name is literally on the door, and he decided I was a criminal. She holds up a document. This is Officer Cole's complaint history. 11 complaints, 10 involving Black professionals, dentists, architects, executives, people who belonged exactly where they were when Cole decided they didn't. Every complaint was dismissed. Every warning sign was ignored. And Phoenix PD let him keep patrolling until he finally targeted someone who could force accountability. Her voice drops. I have resources. I have knowledge. I have the ability to sue and win. But what about everyone else? What about the people Officer Cole profiled who didn't have law degrees, who didn't know their rights, who couldn't afford attorneys? How many people did he violate before me? And how many of them are still waiting for justice? The council chamber is silent. Sarah continues. $2,700,000 is what my civil rights violation cost this city. But money doesn't change the fact that I was handcuffed in my own office parking lot for taking out my trash. Money doesn't erase the humiliation of being treated like a criminal by someone who couldn't imagine that a Black woman could be a successful attorney. And money definitely doesn't prevent the next Officer Cole from doing the same thing to the next victim. She pauses. The real cost isn't measured in settlement dollars. It's measured in broken trust, shattered dignity. The message you send when you let officers like Cole operate without consequences for years. Fix the system. Because the next person he profiles might not be a civil rights attorney, and that person deserves protection too. This wasn't just about trash. This wasn't just about one parking lot encounter. This was about a system that allowed Derek Cole to target Black professionals for 6 years. 11 complaints, 10 involving clear racial bias, all documented, all ignored. The warning signs weren't subtle. They were flashing red lights. But Phoenix PD chose convenience over accountability. They chose filling patrol shifts over protecting the community. They chose Officer Cole's career over the rights of every person he profiled. And attorney Sarah Mitchell paid the price. Handcuffed in her own office parking lot, treated like a criminal for taking out her trash, forced to endure the humiliation of being arrested in front of colleagues. All because an officer saw her skin color before he saw her credentials. Derek Cole's career is over. That's justice. The city paid $2.7 million. That's accountability. But settlements don't restore dignity. Terminations don't undo trauma. And reforms that come after the 11th complaint are reforms that came 10 complaints too late. The real question is, what changes now? Do departments finally take the 3rd complaint seriously instead of waiting for the 11th? Do they finally accept that professional credentials don't protect you from bias? Do they finally understand that retraining without accountability is just paperwork that enables the next violation? Because if we don't fix the system that kept Derek Cole on the street through 11 complaints, if we don't address the culture that treats racial profiling as a training issue rather than a termination issue, then we're just waiting for the next officer, the next victim, the next attorney who gets arrested for taking out her own trash. Any officer with 3 proven racial profiling complaints should be immediately and permanently decertified. No retraining, no appeals, no second chances. Comment if you agree. Let me know where you stand. And if you believe stories like this matter, if you think accountability starts with awareness and ends with action, then hit that subscribe button, because we're going to keep exposing these patterns. We're going to keep demanding better. We're going to keep fighting for the professionals, the parents, the people who deserve to exist without being questioned, detained, or arrested for the crime of being Black and successful. This isn't just about one officer or one attorney. It's about all of us and the system we're willing to accept. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.